Hello everyone, welcome back to a new session for web-based systems. In this session we are going to talk about the delete query, which is the last of the CRUD queries. We had done the select query, which is the retrieve. We have done the insert query, which is the create, and we have done the update query, okay, which is the view. And the final one, which is the delete query. Now, what we want to do, as we have discussed earlier in the previous session, that once we select any one of these items over here, we can, whenever we press the delete key, it should go to a page called delete item.php. From the course website, you can download this delete item page and move it inside your server so that you can see it here, delete item. For me, I have already copied it inside my folder, so it is here. This file will not have the headers and the footers that we had before, so we need those headers and footers. So I'm gonna go ahead and add those headers and footers first. Whenever you remember that when we were adding that, we had this title, we can say delete item, and I'm going to close this, and then I'm going to add my footer. So that it looks, it has the header and the footer. Okay, I missed the semicolon here. Okay, so now it looks good. So we have the delete item page, and from the modify item, whenever I press the delete button, this part of the code will be executed and it has to go to delete item page. Now I haven't specified in this page which item has to be deleted. You remember when we were doing the update query, we sent a get query through this string, which is after the question mark, to the update item page telling which item should be updated. So we have to do the same thing over here. So we just don't need to do anything else. We just need to do the same thing here, exactly the same thing. So question mark PID equal to $PID. Okay, so this way when it goes to the delete item page, it carries the item that you have clicked. So let's go back to your update item page, refresh the page first, and I'm going to select, so for example, this item, and I'm going to press the delete. It goes to the delete item page with the ID here inside the get query string. So now we have to go to this page, which is the delete page, and we have to perform the delete query. Okay, simple as it may sound, we may look at something more advanced of what will happen when we execute the delete query. Okay, so let's start our work. It's not a very difficult part. It's supposed to be simpler than the update one. Update one had many issues, which is updating with the file or without the file and these kind of issues. But here we don't have those issues. We just want to delete an item if it exists in the database. So what we have to do first, we have to get the item ID that was sent to us, which is through the get query, right? So I'm going to say $PID, which is equal to $_get, and use PID. So this is what I do. So I get the PID that was sent to me inside the PID. Now, the simplest way is just to delete it. And if the deletion was successful, then tell, okay, good, everything went successfully. Okay, so we are going to do this part first. So how do we do that? You remember we have to first of all import the settings, which is include the database, which is dbconfig that we did. Okay, and then I'm going to run the query, which is my $query, and the delete query, if you remember from your SQL, is delete from stuff, and we have to put a where clause, and we have to specify a unique, which is the ID equal to $PID. So wherever the ID is PID, it will delete the item from the database. And then we can simply go ahead and say $result is equals to MySQL underscore query and $con, which is my handle, and $query. This will execute the query and $result will have the result. And as we did before, we have to check for the result over here. And say if is set $result, right? And $result is equal to, I'll just say $result, right? If it's true. So that means true means everything ran successfully. So we open the bracket and we show them the message that item was deleted successfully. So we close it. Else, if something else happened, the result value was not, we don't have to check again because we have just two options, so success or failure, right? So we go ahead and say PHP and close the bracket over here. So this is simple. This part is very simple. We did it like 3 times during the insert query and then the update query, and we're doing it again. So based on the value of the result, and if the result is set and the value of the result is 1, which is true, and then the item was deleted successfully. Otherwise, the item was not deleted. If we do this, the item should be removed from the database, right? Which should happen. The only thing that we have to figure out over here is the item that we have stored is not just the item, right? It has, if you go back to your folder, inside the image folder, you have the picture of the item as well. Now, if the item is deleted, there is no reason to keep the picture with you. So you want to delete the picture as well. So how do we delete this picture? If you delete, you remember the picture is already there in the database. If you go to the database, the picture is here. So you have to first get this image, the name, the path of the image, wherever the image is stored. So before running the delete query, you have to run another query, okay, the insert query, the select query. So you have to select first the location, select the item. So what we will do over here is we'll run 2 queries, okay? So let's put this as, select query, and the select query will be the same, select star from, or you can, instead of saying star, or you can just specify you need the image, right? Select img from, to be simple, you don't want to have other things, or it's up to you, you can do whatever you like. Select image from stuff where id is equal to $PID, which you already have, right? And then we can run the result. Say it's res MySQL underscore query $con $select. Okay, so we run the query and we get the result. Since it's a select query, you remember that it comes as, we have to receive it from the ASOC. So you can say you can say the path of the image as MySQL underscore fetch underscore ASOC of $res. Okay, so you are getting the image through this, and I think it's best to do it. So once you receive this, I'm going to say make this as row, and the path will be the row of image, right? It's an associative array, and we're receiving the image only. And so you say the path is the image, which is here. Now I got the path. Now I have to delete the path first. I have to remove the image from this path and then move ahead with the query. How do I do that? Now there is a function in PHP called Unlink. Unlink deletes a file. Okay, so given the file name, it actually removes a file from the physical location on the server. And it's very simple. You just say unlink, just go ahead and say unlink, and you specify the path of the file. And this one actually returns, saying status is equals to unlink. So if the status is true, that means you have removed the file, then you can go ahead and run the query. You can delete item, or if it's not true, else, then you can simply say $result is equals to 0. We did this before as well, we had the update query. So if the status was 1, that means the file was removed successfully, then we can go ahead inside and delete the file from the database, and then we return 1 or 0 based on the query. Otherwise, we return 0 saying that no, there was some issue with removing the file from the server. Okay, so I think this should work. Let's see. If we have a problem, then we can come back and fix this. Okay, so let's go back to our page and go to the delete item page. Let's go back, refresh this page, select the last item that we added, which is the outer ring, and I'm going to press the delete button. Item was deleted successfully. So if we go back to our database, we refresh our database, you can see that now 109 is no longer here. If we go to our server, you can see that the image for the ring is no longer here. So if you just run the delete query, you will just remove the item from the database. But if you have any file associated with that item, that file will always be there. And we don't want to have this, extra items in your database. It will keep on filling and, disrupting your directory structure. So you want to delete it. If the file is no longer there in the database, then there is no longer needed to be kept track of, right? So you can just simply delete it by using the unlink function that is provided to you. So this is simple. The delete part is very, very simple. You get the ID which is sent to you from the modify item page, which is done using the get query. Then you run the select query to get the location of the image because you want to delete the image. And when you run the query and get the fetch, and then you store the image inside get the path of the image and store it inside a variable called path. And then you use the unlink function to remove that file from the path. And then you store the status, if the file was successfully removed or not. If the file was successfully removed, then you run the query and then you execute the query. Okay? Else, if the file was not deleted, then you return 0. And based on the value of result, if the result was 1, then you say item was deleted successfully. If the result was 0, then you can say item was not deleted because of some issue. The two issues that we can have is either it was not deleted from the database or the file itself could not be deleted from the server. So this is the simple way you can run the delete query in your PHP program.